Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. My name is Oscar, and I'm a principal designer at a leading architectural firm in Denver. For the past 5 years, my wife Elena and I have lived a quiet and happy life. Elena works for a large insurance company and is an excellent claims specialist. Our lives may seem perfect, but fate always likes to play jokes. It was a normal Wednesday afternoon, and I was buried in my office designing a new commercial building. Suddenly, my good friend and colleague, Kevin, a construction engineer, knocked on my door. "Oscar, I have something to tell you." Kevin's expression was unusually serious, but I'm not sure I should. I put down the pen in my hand and gestured for him to sit down. "What is it? You don't look like you have good news." Kevin took a deep breath and said, "It's about Elena. I was working late last night and overheard her talking on the phone with Stan Morrison, one of the company's account managers. They seem close." My heart sank hard, but I forced myself to stay calm. "Maybe you heard wrong. It's normal for Elena to talk to her clients." Kevin shook his head. "No, Oscar, I'm pretty sure. They're planning a vacation to the mountains this weekend. Stan said he'd booked a room and mentioned bring condoms." I felt a wave of vertigo, as if I had been hit on the head. Elena, my beloved wife, would betray me? I can't believe it, and I don't want to believe it. "Kevin, thanks for telling me this. I needed some time to calm down." Kevin nodded, patted me on the shoulder, and left the office. For the next 2 days, I could barely focus on my work. I've been going over Elena's every move lately, trying to pick up on the clues. She does work a lot of overtime and sometimes gets calls from urgent clients. But these are normal things in the insurance industry, and I never doubted it. Friday afternoon, I made a decision. I contacted a private investigator and asked him to track Elena's movements. As much as it shames and disturbs me to do so, I must know the truth. On Sunday night, the private investigator sent a detailed report, including photos and videos. Watching those intimate images broke my heart into a million pieces. Elena and Stan did go to the mountain resort, where they had dinner at the hotel restaurant, acted intimately, and returned to their room together. I stayed up all night thinking about what to do about Elena. When she got ready for work on Monday morning as if nothing had happened, I couldn't take it anymore. "Elena, we need to talk." My voice was horribly calm. She seemed to notice something unusual and put down the coffee cup in her hand. "What's the matter, Oscar? You don't look well." I looked her straight in the eye. "Where were you this weekend?" Elena was slightly flustered. "Didn't I tell you? The company arranged the training on an ad hoc basis." I opened my laptop and played the video taken by the private investigator. "So what's going on with these?" Elena's face instantly turned pale. She opened her mouth to say something, but in the end, only a weak sob escaped. "Oscar, I don't know how to explain this. I'm really sorry." I sneered. "Sorry? You think an apology is going to make up for your betrayal?" Elena was in tears. "I didn't mean to. Stan, he made me feel so special. I know that's no excuse, but I really regret it. Oscar, please forgive me." I shook my head, feeling a wave of exhaustion I'd never felt before. "Elena, we're done. I'll contact a lawyer and prepare the divorce papers. Please move out today." Elena crumbles to her knees, apologizing and pleading over and over. But my heart is cold and no amount of tears can melt it. Watching Elena's back as she packed her bags and left, I suddenly realized that our marriage was over. A 5-year relationship that went up in smoke overnight. I sat in my empty living room and let the sadness and anger consume me. From that day on, my life changed forever. I went all in and tried to numb myself with busyness. But the pain of that betrayal still rushes through my mind every late night. I know it will take a long time to heal this wound, but I also understand that life always goes on. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll be able to believe in love again and start a new life. In the days after Elena left, I buried myself completely in my work. I started designing a studio that could be moved around in the hope of escaping from a city full of painful memories. Every day, I left early and returned late, and on weekends I soaked in the office, as if this was the only way to let me temporarily forget the emptiness in my heart. However, life is always full of surprises. One afternoon, a month later, Elena's sister Lily paid a surprise visit to my office. Lily is a freelance writer, and we used to meet occasionally at family gatherings. Oscar, I know you probably don't want to see anyone associated with Elena right now. Lily stood in the doorway with some urgency, but I think we need to talk. I sighed and gestured for her to sit down. Lily, if you're here to intercede for Elena, you're excused. Our marriage is over. Lily shook her head. No, I'm not here to defend her. Elena made a big mistake, there's no doubt about that. But she paused as if weighing her words. Oscar, did you know that Elena might be pregnant? I felt a sharp pain in my chest, as if someone had punched me hard. What? I practically yelled. She's pregnant? Whose is it? Lily looks a little alarmed. I'm not sure. Elena had just found out before she had a chance to do a more detailed examination. But, considering the time, I sneered, considering the time. It could be mine or that stands, right? Lily lowered her head. I'm so sorry, Oscar. I know this must be hard for you to accept, but I think you have a right to know about it. I felt a wave of vertigo and had to hold onto the table to steady myself. Elena's pregnant. This should have been welcome news, but now it was the last straw that broke my back. Thanks for telling me this, Lily. But right now, I really need to be alone. Lily nodded and got up to leave. Before closing the door, she looked back at me. Oscar, I know this might not be the right time to say this, but Elena really regrets it. Maybe you guys could. Bye, Lily, I interrupted, closing the door hard. For the next few days, I could barely sleep. The news of Elena's possible pregnancy weighed on me like a boulder. I don't know what to do about this possible child, or about Elena. Just when I was in deep confusion and pain, my good friend Kevin once again brought shocking news. Oscar, have you heard? Elena and Stan have been arrested. Kevin rushed into my office, panting. I froze. What? What's going on? Kevin explains, they are suspected of economic crimes. It seems that Stan used his position to manipulate some insurance claims data with Elena and bilked a lot of money out of the company. I felt a wave of nausea. Oh my God. I never thought Elena would do something like this. Kevin hesitated. And, well, Oscar, I don't know if I should tell you this, but Elena was hurt a little during the arrest. She lost the baby in her womb. I stood up and stumbled over to the window. The sky outside the window was overcast, as if it would rain heavily at any moment. My heart was filled with mixed emotions: anger, sadness, regret, and a hint of unspeakable relief. Oscar, are you okay? Kevin asked worriedly. I took a deep breath. I don't know, Kevin. I really don't know. Just then, my cell phone rang. It's an unfamiliar number. Hello, is this Mr. Oscar? A gentle female voice came on the other end of the line. I'm Sophia Jacobson. My husband Robert and I run a chain of restaurants in Denver. We heard about your recently designed mobile studio, and we're very interested. I wonder if you'd be interested in joining us for a family gathering this Saturday? We would like to talk to you to see if we can design a mobile food truck for our restaurant. I froze for a moment, then said, Thank you for the invitation, Mrs. Jacobson. I'm honored to participate. When I hung up the phone, I felt a twinge of long-awaited anticipation. Perhaps this is a new beginning that life has given me. Saturday night, I arrived at the Jacobson family mansion. The yard was decorated in a cozy and lively way, and there was laughter everywhere. Sophia and Robert Jacobson, an affable older couple, welcomed me warmly. Just as Robert and I were discussing the design details of the mobile food truck, a young woman's voice interrupted our conversation. Grandpa, are you talking about work again? She said playfully, It's a party. I turned around and saw a beautiful, beautiful girl. She had silky brown hair and a playful twinkle in her bright eyes. Oh, Mia, just in time. Robert smiled. Come meet Oscar. He's a very talented architect. Oscar, this is my granddaughter Mia, who is a dessert maker and a little-known food blogger. Mia extends her hand towards me with a big smile. Nice to meet you, Oscar. Grandpa has just been praising you." I took her hand in mine, and for some reason, my heartbeat suddenly sped up. "It's nice to meet you too, Mia." It was at that moment that I suddenly realized that maybe fate had given me a chance to start over. I felt a glimmer of hope in Mia's warm smile. After the party at Jacobson's house, I found myself thinking about Mia's big smile from time to time. However, whenever this feeling wells up, I subconsciously suppress it. After all, I had just gone through a painful betrayal and really didn't dare to commit my heart to someone else so easily. To my surprise, Mia reached out to me on the third day after the party. "Hi, Oscar." Her voice came through the phone with an imperceptible hint of nervousness. "I was wondering if you had time to meet with me." I wanted to apologize for earlier. I was confused. Apologize? For what? Mia sighed. "Remember when our grandparents borrowed the mobile studio you designed on our family trip? I was so rude to you back then. I was in a bad mood and took it out on you. It's something that has always made me feel guilty. I think back to that chance encounter and do remember a grumpy young girl. I didn't realize that was actually Mia." "It's okay, Mia. That's all in the past. No, I still want to apologize to you in person. And," she paused, "I'd love to see you again, too. Would you like to have lunch with me?" I hesitated for a while, but finally agreed. After all, it was just a regular lunch, wasn't it? The next day at noon, we met at a small cafe. Mia looked even more stunning in a light blue dress than she did at the party. "Oscar, I'm really sorry for being rude to you before," she said sincerely. "I had just broken up with my boyfriend at the time, and I was in a terrible mood." I smiled and shook my head. "It's really okay, Mia. We all have bad moods." Our conversation then naturally turned to our respective jobs. Mia spoke passionately about how she became a confectioner and her experiences running a food blog. Her eyes sparkle when she talks about her favorite things, and I can't help but be captivated by that pure passion. "You know, Oscar," snapped Mia, "I think you're special. You are talented and kind and considerate. I love being with you." I froze, not knowing how to respond. I was both surprised and touched by Mia's bluntness, but the deep-seated fear remained. "Mia, I weighed my words. "I appreciate your kindness, but I just went through a failed marriage. I'm not sure I'm ready to start a new relationship right now." A flicker of loss flashed in Mia's eyes, but was quickly followed by an understanding smile. "I understand, Oscar. I won't pressure you. We can be friends first, okay?" And so Mia and I began an amazing friendship. She often asked me out, sometimes to taste her newly developed desserts, sometimes to visit art exhibitions she recommended. In Mia's company, I felt my heart slowly melting, but I still couldn't quite let my guard down. However, life always likes to give surprises. Just as Mia and I were getting closer, I got a call from my mother. "Oscar, dear." The mother's voice dripped with anxiety. "I heard about Elena. Are you okay?" I took a deep breath. "I'm fine, Mom. It's all in the past." "But, Oscar," Mother hesitated. "I was thinking that maybe you should consider forgiving Elena. After all, she's carrying your child." I snapped to my feet. "Mom, Elena had a miscarriage. And even if that child were still alive, there's no way I could ever forgive her for her betrayal." "But, Oscar," the mother's voice took on a pleading tone, "family is the most important thing. Maybe you guys could start over? For the sake of the baby." I felt a wave of dizziness, a mix of anger and pain. "Mom, enough. Elena betrayed me and was involved in financial crimes. It's all over. Please don't bring this up again." After hanging up the phone, I felt more tired and confused than ever. I love my mother, but her persuasion makes me feel like my feelings are being completely ignored. In that moment, I made the decision that I needed some time away from everyone, including my family. Just as I was falling into deep self-doubt, Mia reappeared in my life. She seemed to pick up on my slump, but didn't press for a reason. Instead, she began to run into me more often. "Hey, Oscar," said Mia one day as I was walking in the park when she suddenly appeared in front of me. "What a coincidence. I happen to be here for my morning run. Would you like to join us for a cup of coffee?" Another time, when I was working late into the night, Mia sent me a message out of the blue. I just made some new flavors of macarons. Would you like to try them? I can deliver them to your office. I know these coincidences are mostly orchestrated by Mia, but I don't hate them. Instead, I began to look forward to these unexpected encounters. Finally, one sunny afternoon, Mia showed up outside my studio in the Jacobson family's newest gourmet food truck. Surprise! She smiled. I bet you haven't had lunch yet, have you? How about a taste of my new dish? I looked at the food truck in amazement. It was the same one I had designed for the Jacobsons earlier. You guys actually built it? Mia nodded proudly, and I'm the first one to use it. Oh, come on, don't just stand there. Come on in. I walked into the food truck and was immediately surrounded by the aroma of all kinds of food. Mia had prepared a sumptuous lunch for me, with her specialty desserts and some exquisite entrees. I remember you said you liked Italian food, Mia said as she poured me a glass of red wine. So I made a point of learning a few. I hope it's to your liking. Watching Mia go about her business, I suddenly realized that her kindness to me went far beyond that of an ordinary friend. In this cozy space, I felt a warmth and security I hadn't felt in a long time. Mia, I whispered, thank you. Thank you for always being there for me. Mia stopped what she was doing and turned to look at me. There was a soft glint in her eyes. Oscar, I like you. Not just a friend kind of like. I know you've been through a lot, and I'm not going to pressure you. But I want you to know that I'm here for you, no matter how long it takes you. I felt my heart beating wildly, and the ice that had surrounded me for so long slowly began to melt in this moment. I reached out and gently took Mia's hand. Mia, I may need some more time, but I want you to stay by my side. Mia smiled brightly, a smile that was brighter than the sun. Of course, Oscar. We have plenty of time. And so it was, in this little food truck, with good food and wine, that I finally began to come to grips with my feelings for Mia. I know that there may be a long road ahead, but at least I'm not walking alone anymore. After that food truck encounter, my relationship with Mia took a quantum leap. We started going out more often, tasting food together, visiting art exhibitions, and sometimes just sitting quietly in the park, talking or working on our own. Mia's presence has brought color back into my life, but there is still a lingering hint of fear deep inside me. One night, we were watching a movie together in my apartment. Mia leaned over my shoulder and whispered, Oscar, we've been together for 3 months. I nodded, my heart beating faster involuntarily. She lifted her head and looked me straight in the eye. Have you ever thought about our future? I froze. The future? The word used to fill me with anticipation, but now it scares me. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself. Mia, I weighed my words. I like you a lot, really, but you know what I've been through in the past. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to commit wholeheartedly to a relationship again. A flicker of loss flashed in Mia's eyes, but it was quickly replaced by understanding and tenderness. She gently took my hand. Oscar, I understand your concerns. I won't force you to do anything you're not ready for. I just want you to know that I'm here no matter how long it takes you. I felt a pang of guilt as I looked into Mia's determined and tender eyes. I know I'm hurting her, but I just can't quite let go. Over the next few days, I began to consciously and unconsciously distance myself from Mia. I put off some appointments, excusing my busy schedule. Every time I see Mia's disappointed expression, I feel a tugging pain in my heart. But I told myself it was to protect both of us. It was at this point that I received an unexpected phone call. It's my lawyer. Mr. Oscar, her tone was serious. I just received a document from the prison. It's Elena's. I froze. Elena? What does she want? She has written a letter of confession which she wishes to forward to you. In addition, she has expressed her willingness to give up all claims of property division and only begs you to forgive her. I felt a rush of mixed emotions come over me. Elena's repentance in prison didn't give me any relief or relief. I don't need to read that letter, I said calmly. And as for forgiveness, maybe someday I can, but not now. Please tell her that I accept her offer to waive the division of property, and hopefully this will expedite our divorce. The lawyer seemed relieved. I see, Mr. Oscar. I'll pass it on truthfully. After hanging up the phone, I sat in my office, deep in thought. Elena's incarceration, her confession, things that used to kill me, now only send a ripple through me. I realized that I had truly let go of the past. Just then, my cell phone rang. It was a message from Mia. Oscar, I baked your favorite blueberry pie. Waiting for you to come to my house from work? Looking at this message, I suddenly realized that the fear and hesitation I felt inside wasn't because I couldn't trust again, but because I cared so much about Mia. I'm afraid of getting hurt again, so I've been avoiding it. I stood up and decided it was time to face my feelings. I drove straight to Mia's apartment. When she opened the door, I took her into my arms without saying a word. Oscar, said Mia in surprise, what happened? I took a deep breath. Mia, I'm sorry. I've been running away from my feelings. I'm afraid to give it my all for fear of getting hurt again. But today I finally realized that you gave me the courage to believe in love again. Mia, I love you. Mia's eyes overflowed with tears as she hugged me back tightly. Oh, Oscar, I love you too. And so, in the aroma of blueberry pie, we began a relationship in the truest sense of the word. Mia's understanding and patience healed my inner wounds, and I learned to open my heart to love again. 6 months later, I finally finished my dream mobile studio design. It's a smart RV that combines work and life in one, allowing one to stay productive even while on the road. That's great, Oscar, exclaimed Mia. When can we try it? I looked at her with a smile. Actually, I have a proposition for you. I got down on one knee and pulled a small box out of my pocket. Mia covers her mouth in surprise. Mia Jacobson, would you like to join me in this RV on our journey around the United States? On our journey, we can work together, explore together, and taste food from all over. Most importantly, I want to have a little wedding with you somewhere along the journey. Will you be my wife? Tears came to Mia's eyes as she nodded her head vigorously. Yes, yes, Oscar. I do. 2 months later, we started our road trip. Our first stop was the Grand Canyon of Colorado. Standing on the edge of the canyon, watching the magnificent sunset, Mia leaned over my shoulder. Oscar, she said softly, do you regret it? Giving up a steady job for this life of wanderlust? I turned and looked deep into her eyes. No regrets at all. Mia, you gave me the courage to start over. I feel at ease and happy with you by my side, wherever I am. Mia flashed a huge smile. It was my favorite smile. We smiled at each other and then kissed deeply. As night fell, we returned to our mobile home. I sat down at my workbench and continued to design my new project. Mia was busy in the small kitchen with occasional bursts of aroma. This is our new life: work, food, travel, and each other's company. I know that there will probably be many more challenges and difficulties in life. But this time, I'm not afraid anymore. Because I know that no matter what happens, we'll face it together. Looking out the window at the vast starry sky, I took a deep breath. This is a new chapter in our story, and I can't wait to start the next leg of the journey. Life is like a long road trip with sunny days and stormy moments. It's not the destination that matters. It's how we grow, how we love, and how we become better versions of ourselves along the journey. And now, with Mia by my side, I've finally found my own happy course. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.